Today's housing is so expensive. Wouldn't it be great if you had a way to have someone help you make that payment? I'm going to explain how. I'm Scott Beaty. I'm with Colorado Lending Team. One of the reasons people buy a home is so that they have a place to call their own. Another reason is so that they can build equity so that they can save for their future. When you have a roommate or you buy a 2 to 4 unit property, you're still doing those same things, but someone else is paying part of that for you. Right now, you're likely paying rent. So by bringing in a roommate or buying a 2 to 4 unit property, you're eliminating your rent payment, you're building equity, you're having someone else subsidize that, and now you're the landlord and someone's paying your payment instead of the other way around. The first option is the one that's probably the most common, and that is to get a roommate. Having a roommate means that you have someone sharing expenses and sometimes sharing the household duties such as kitchen cleanup and cooking and things like that. My own personal experience, I had a roommate many years ago, and it was a buddy of mine, and he was looking for a place to crash. I said, sure thing. After 30 days though, you're gonna have to start paying rent. I ended up staying a little past 30 days, about 5 years past 30 days. So we had 5 years of being able to share expenses, which made life easier for both of us. I was able to save on my mortgage, which enabled me to buy a nicer vehicle and actually have a jet ski for the weekends. So it's definitely an option to have a roommate to help share in those costs. We'll go through some of the other benefits of having a roommate other than just sharing expenses. One of those is that today we're all more socially distanced than we ever have been. So having someone living with you gives you a little more chance to interact, especially if you work from home. Another benefit is safety in numbers. If you have a roommate, you're not so worried about what goes bump in the night because you have someone else to be there to make sure that you're safe. Another great benefit is if you have pets, you can go out of town for a long weekend or even a week, and if you got a great roommate, they can help you watch your pet. You'll also have the ability to expand your social circles. You can invite your roommate to events that you're going to, and in turn, they're going to invite you to events that they go to. This is going to expand opportunities and let you be a little more social than you might normally be on your own. Another benefit of having a roommate is that you have someone that's watching the house while you're gone. In some cases, the money that your roommate pays you can be used to qualify for a mortgage. How that works is you would need to be able to document 12 months of on-time payments, either through canceled checks or a payment app such as Venmo. In those cases, then we would be able to use the income, but you are capped. The cap is 30% of the total income can come from a roommate. In addition to helping pay the mortgage, keep in mind too that they're going to be sharing the cost of your utilities. So that's another benefit or another savings that you're going to see by having that roommate. So even though you can't use your friend's income to help you qualify, what it can do is give you peace of mind in the back of your head that even though the mortgage payment seems expensive, it's not as expensive as it would be if you were doing it on your own. So what if a roommate's not really your thing? It's not really my thing either. While I had a roommate years ago and it was great, I wouldn't want to do that again today. If a roommate's not your thing, there are options to have someone else pay your mortgage without having to live with them, but you're gonna have to live next to them, or at least in close proximity. One of those ways is to buy a duplex, a triplex, or a fourplex. It's 2, 3, or 4 units. If you buy a duplex, you would live in one unit and someone else would live in the other unit. If you had a fourplex, you'd live in one unit and you'd have 3 other people living in your units. So what if a roommate isn't really what you want, but you still want someone else to help pay your mortgage? One of those ways is to buy a 2 unit, a 3 unit, or a 4 unit, otherwise known as a duplex, a triplex, or a fourplex. It means what it says. A 2 unit is a duplex, a 3 unit is a triplex, and a 4 unit is a fourplex. A duplex, you would live on one side and someone else would live on the other. A triplex, you live on one and people would live in the other 2, and so on and so forth with the other ones. When you buy one of these types of properties, you're able to use the rental income from the other units to help you qualify for yours. This is going to enable you to spend more money and buy a more expensive property, which in most cases a 2, 3, or 4 unit are going to be more expensive, but not as expensive as buying 2, 3, or 4 houses. When you're living in one of these units, it's kind of nice because then you can see what's happening in the rest of your units. You get to see who comes and goes and you can kind of babysit your property. But if you want to avoid conflict and you don't necessarily want everyone to know that you're the landlord, you can also hire a management company and they'll take over doing the dirty job of being a landlord. If you're interested in this type of property, it's also one thing to note is you don't need to put 20% down on this or any other property. You can get away with as little as 3.5% to 5% down on a 2 to 4 unit property. Feel free to reach out. Our phone number is 303-477-3889. You can call or text that number or check us out on the internet, coloradolendingteam.com.